Dear friends, we are again here to ponder on one of the Indian festivals called Deepawali. Deepavali is the Hindu festival of lights, which is celebrated by Indians all over the world. Deepavali means a row of lights. It is one of the most significant of all Hindu festivals. The light symbolizes knowledge and wisdom, while darkness is a symbol of all negative forces such as wickedness, destruction, violence, lust, envy, injustice, greed, oppression, suffering, etc. Deepavali is not only significant because of its massive popularity and celebrations, but also because it symbolizes the victory of light over darkness, of good over evil, and of knowledge over ignorance. The celebration of Deepavali can find its roots in ancient India, and it's likely that it began as a significant harvest festival. And as with many Hindu festivals, the origins of Deepavali differ from region to region, which can be greatly attributed to the culture of stories and legends being passed down through generations through the spoken word. Deepavali is not just lighting the lamps, celebrating and sharing of gifts. It is also a time to reflect on one's own life, past deeds, and making the right changes for the upcoming new year or new situation. Deepavali is also a celebration to share and to forgive. It should be a common practice to forget and forgive the injustice and grudges done to us. It should be celebrated with a spirit of freedom, festivity, and friendliness everywhere. Deepavali makes the birth of a new and revitalized person. A happy and refreshed mind during Deepavali charges a person to make changes as a healthy, ethical individual who will be more efficient in his work and will also be spiritually advanced. Deepavali is a celebration that unites people from every corner, religion and caste. The simple, smiling, kind and accommodating heart melt even the hardest of the hearts. It is a time when people mingle about in joy and embrace one another. Deepavali is a celebration of hope and prosperity. It gives us the strength and the zeal to carry on with our work and goodwill for the rest of the year, and thus promising us success and prosperity. Thus, as a mark of love, people give gifts to employees, families, and friends. Most importantly, Deepavali illuminates our inner self The lights of Deepavali also signify a time to destroy all darkness of our inner self, dark desires, dark thoughts, and have a deeper inner illumination and self-reflection. Deepavali, or the festival of lights, is celebrated not only by Hindus but also by Sikhs, Buddhists and Jains. Deepavali connects followers of multiple religions in celebrations of the victory of good over evil through the lighting lamps, and each religion adds their own color to the festival of light. In Jain religion, Deepavali is commemorated as anniversary of Lord Mahavir's attainment of moksha, of freedom from the cycle of reincarnation. Lord Mahavir was the 24th and the last Tirthankar of Jainism and revitalized the religion. In Jain scriptures, it is said that the earth and the heavens were illuminated with the lamps to mark the occasion of Lord Mahavir's enlightenment. For Jains, Deepavali is a celebration of Lord Mahavir's teachings and his contributions not only to the religion but to greater humanity. His teachings promote compassion and justice through ahimsa, non-violence, advocating the importance of all living beings as well as social, political and economic equanimity and togetherness. He emphasized non-possessiveness in order to protect biodiversity from our greedy, egoistic attitudes. Most importantly, he taught the concept of multiplicity of views, of pluralism, and encouraged individuals to overcome superstitions and blind faith and to pursue reason through their own efforts. For Sikhs religious persons, Deepavali is known as Day of Liberation. It commemorates the release of Guru Hargobind, the sixth Guru, and 52 other kings from prison, where they were held by Mughal Emperor Jahangir in 1619. The sixth celebrate is written by lighting up the golden temple, the hundreds of lamps, a tradition which is followed till today. Besides firework displays, the Deepavali days also see a Nagar Kirtan, a street procession, and a continuous reading of Guru Granth Sahib, reading the scriptures continuously. On Deepavali, the Sikhs also honor the construction of the holy city of Amritsar in 1577, the Golden Temple, and the martyrdom of Bhai Mani Singh in 1738. For Buddhists, Deepavali is the auspicious day on which Emperor Asoka, after the battle of Kalinga around 265 BC, decided to follow the path of Buddhism. Buddhists celebrate both the Buddha as well as Emperor Ashoka on this day. For Hindus, Deepawali's religious significance varies to each region and culture within India and in other countries among the Hindus. One of the most prominent stories remembers the climax of the epic Ramayana, when Lord Rama defeats Ravana and returns to the kingdom of Ayodhya from exile with his wife Sita. For some Hindus, Deepavali also pays tribute to Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, fortune and beauty. Others celebrate Lord Ganesha, the god of auspiciousness and wisdom, and still others commemorate Lord Krishna's defeat of the demon Naragasura, and for many, Deepavali is the Hindu New Year. Then what would be the significant values regarding Deepavali? While Deepavali is important to each faith for different reasons, a common factor in all of the understandings is the triumph of good over evil, of light over darkness, and that is why Deepavali is the festival of lights. The meaning of Deepavali, however, is not limited to the celebration. The poet Tulasidasa, in his version of Ramayana, tells us that the return of Rama is marked by a new human community in which all enjoyed peace and prosperity. He described the characteristics of this community in beautiful details that have profound contemporary relevance. We can highlight 4 of its most important features. First, poverty was overcome and no one suffered for lack of life's necessities. Second, illiteracy was overcome and opportunities for learning were available to everyone. Third, diseases were overcome. No one died prematurely and all lived healthy lives. Fourth, violence and hate were overcome and relationships were characterized by love and service. The theological conclusions of the celebration are important and challenging. First, a human community that aspires to be free from poverty, illiteracy, disease and violence is one that has associated itself with God's purpose. This is the community that Rama wills and which he governed after his return. One cannot love Rama and be indifferent to human sufferings and to the nature of the community in which one lives. Second, God's purposes are accomplished through and in cooperation with human beings. We have a vital role and responsibility in making this community a reality, and it will not be realized without our commitment and cooperation. Festivals, by the very virtue and nature of its public and ritual sign, provide an occasion for a social and cultural evolution of dominant forces in the society. It provides us to reflect on the total absence of fraternal feeling in our living situation. Here, we cannot claim to be a religious person with such brutal indifference to the violence and sufferings of the people of our own country. We have to accept that we are a nation in the making, and if we want that India becomes a strong nation, we not only ought to celebrate but also emphasize or empathize and mourn the sufferings of our fellow citizens of our country. We not only ought to celebrate but also empathize and mourn the sufferings of our fellow citizens of our country. I think that our cultural heritage of myths, rituals and oral histories that define our festivals and cultural events need to be mobilized to voice out the moral and ethical concerns about the contemporary nature of our society. While celebrating Deepavali, we have to think of the injustices and brutalities committed in the name of the nation against the people of this very nation. Here, we would like to urge everyone to reflect on the larger socio-political situation. When we celebrate Deepavali and also think about the myth and philosophy that defines this festival of light, I hope while lighting hundreds of lamps and candles, we are also light a candle to remember those who do not have the privilege to celebrate. While writing Deepavali greetings, let's also write something acknowledging the brutal realities amidst which we will happily celebrate the festival of light, amidst the abyss of darkness in our consciences. The celebration of the victory of good over evil should not appear too shallow. At least we should be aware of the evil that is part of us all. We cannot celebrate Deepavali without being concerned about the reality of poverty, illiteracy, disease and violence in our world. If God's purpose is the world to If God's purpose in the world is accomplished through us and in cooperation with us, it is also true that this work requires our cooperation with each other. Our hope is not in solitary effect, but in working with others in the manner of God's will. We may not all agree on practices or on the precise path for the goal of overcoming poverty, illiteracy, disease and violence. But even the understanding about these as shared goals of our common life and as essential to the meaning of being a Hindu or religious is a great step. Working with others for the achievement of these ends defines what it means to be human, and it is having a deep religious responsibility. At the heart of this engagement must be a concern for the well-being of all. We ought to ensure that our commitment to overcoming suffering is rooted in poverty, illiteracy, disease and violence. This commitment must become identical with what it means to be Hindu in our self-understanding and in the eyes of others. Social life, according to Mahatma Gandhi, is concerned with the well-being of human communities. Anything concerned the human well-being must concern the person of religious commitment. Unfortunately, most of our religious traditions are known more for what we stand against than what we stand for. Unfortunately, most of our religious traditions are known more for what we stand against than what we stand for. Religious identity has become negative rather than positive. We have to ensure that the positive dimension of our commitment is more prominent than the negative. With this positive perspective, let us celebrate Deepawali, the festival of lights, with joy. Let each celebration be a reminder and renewal of our profound obligations to bring the lights of prosperity, knowledge, health and peace to all beings and persons. So let us also light up a lamp in the inner heart that we may create a new community of justice, love and peace. O Supreme Graceful Light, justice, love and peace be in all beings. Be well, be well, be well. Thank you.